It's 22:10 local time on the 4th of July 2025. Over the occupied port city of Berdyansk, alarms rip through the night. Russian radar crews scramble as screens light up unknown tracks at low altitude. Outside the wire, silence breaks with a sharp hiss. Ukrainian-launched drones cut through the dark sky, their electric motors barely audible. Spotlights swing, guns rotate, and Panzer batteries open fire. The first explosions flash across the base. Flames rise where oil tanks sit exposed. Seconds stretch. Ammo depots rumble with secondary blasts, and silhouettes of tanks burn along the lot. Operators on both sides know the next 10 minutes decide if Berdyansk remains a stronghold or a smoking ruin. From a concealed truck miles away, Ukrainian teams steer Switchblade 600 seconds along the shoreline, hidden by clutter and sea haze. The podlet radar tries to track. The Zhitl jammer crackles on. The drones shift to terminal seekers and dive. One warhead spears the 110 kV substation lights, die in an instant. Another slams into fuel, fireballs roll. 22:19. The night turns orange. Berdyansk, once a quiet resort city on the Azov coast, now stands as one of Russia's most critical military hubs in the south. Since the occupation, the port and its sprawling base have turned into a lifeline for frontline units. Trains and trucks roll in daily, carrying fuel, ammunition, and spare parts. From here, supplies spread toward Mariupol, Melitopol, and the Zaporizhia line. Without it, Russian forces grind to a halt. Ukraine knows this. Hitting Berdyansk is not about destroying one base, it's about shaking the entire backbone of Russian logistics. A single strike on the right node can cut off thousands of soldiers from resupply. That means fewer shells fired, fewer tanks rolling, fewer defenses against Ukrainian advances. For Kyiv, this is asymmetric warfare. Low-cost drones causing high-cost disruption. On the Russian side, the stakes are equally clear. Losing Berdyansk's flow means frontline brigades face fuel shortages within days. Morale collapses when soldiers wait for ammo that never comes. Commanders know that even if tanks remain, they are useless without diesel. So every radar crew, every jamming operator, every air defense battery is ordered to defend the hub at all costs. That's why, on this July night, the clash feels bigger than just explosions in the dark. It's a duel of endurance. Stealth drones, guided by hidden Ukrainian teams against layers of Russian defenses, each side fighting to control the lifeline of an entire front. The outcome could tilt the balance not only in Zaporizhia but across the whole southern theater. And here's where I want to hear from you. If you think Ukrainian drone swarms will keep breaking through, hit 1" the comments. If you think Russian defenses can still hold the line, press 9. Arsharden Shiifin. The first warning burst through Russian radios. Multiple low tracks, bearing southwest. Operators in Berdyansk scramble to recalibrate their Podlet K1 radar, straining to catch the small signatures. The drones hug the shoreline, slipping between clutter echoes. In a hidden truck nearly 40 kilometers away, Ukrainian operators guide their Switchblade 600. Each munition carries a small warhead, but the tactic is swarm. Many cheap drones to overwhelm costly defenses. Launcher tubes hiss in rhythm, sending steady pulses of silent flight. 22:12. Russian Panzer batteries open fire. Tracer shells streak upward, carving lines through the night. One drone explodes, debris scattering. But the others split, some climbing, some dropping lower, zigzagging hard. The goal is confusion force the defense to waste missiles on decoys. Seconds later, Ukraine reveals the next card. More Switchblades launch, coordinated by secure uplink. The swarm spreads wide, then curves back in, converging on critical points. Transformer yard, tank depot, ammunition stacks. Each strike here means cascading damage far beyond the drone's weight. 22:13. Russian jammers roar. The Zhitl system blasting interference. Screens flicker, feeds distort. Some switchblades fall into fields, yet most keep course. Optics locked, diving. Explosions ripple. The first hit lands in the substation yard, metal shrieks, sparks flash, and power lines collapse. A second drone crashes into an oil tank, fireballs rise, thick smoke pouring skyward. By 22:14, at least 5 Russian crews fire wildly, trying to swat shadows in chaos. 22:15. Ukrainian operators push harder. A wave of 10 drones dives almost simultaneously. Pantsir missiles streak up, taking 3, but 7 survive, plunging into the depot and igniting munitions. The ground shakes with secondary blasts, crates of shells cooking off, a T-72 row engulfed in flames. Fire crews sprint toward the depot, then retreat under shrapnel and heat as tanks cook off. A backup generator kicks on, throwing hard light over wreckage and exposing fresh targets. Panic crackles on the net. The first phase is clear. Ukraine has forced Russia to waste ammunition, reveal radars, and fight in panic. But the swarm isn't done. Another launch is already queued. For Berdyansk, the real test is only beginning. 22:16. Smoke pours across Berdyansk as the first wave's fireballs still burn. Yet Russian radar crews call out again. New contacts. Same bearing. A second swarm approaches. Larger, tighter, faster. The defenders are already strained, but there's no pause. Pantsir launchers reload under frantic hands. Fresh missiles slam into rails. Guns clatter as barrels overheat. Operators fight fatigue as warning tones stack in their ears. Several drones appear on thermal scopes, darting low above the sea. A pair of missiles intercept them, blossoming fire over the water. But others slip through. 22:17. The Zytel jammer pulses stronger, blanketing the band. More drones tumble down, but the survivors seem unaffected, flying blind yet purposeful. They've switched into terminal dive mode. Each second, the gap closes. Russian commanders order the base to change posture. Crews race to move vehicles, pushing tanks away from burning rows. Fuel trucks scatter, headlights flashing. But moving targets only create chaos. The Ukrainian swarm doesn't care which column is which. It locks on whatever reflects heat and metal. 22:18. Ukrainian operators launch again. From their concealed truck, tubes hiss in sequence. The strategy is relentless pressure. Never give the defense a break, never let them regroup. By the time one wave ends, another is already inbound. Inside the base, guns thunder. A row of autocannons spits tracers into the night, cutting down 3 drones mid-dive. Yet 2 survive and slam into the fuel yard. The result is catastrophic explosions roar. Flames leap high. Black smoke choking the city. The blast shatters windows miles away. 22:19. Secondary fires spread unchecked. Ammunition stacks erupt in violent bursts, spraying debris across the depot. Russian crews shout over radios, some retreating, others clinging to positions under orders. Every interception matters, but every miss costs dearly. The balance is clear. Ukraine has turned pressure into a weapon, and Russia is forced into a desperate defense. The question now is whether defenses can adapt faster than the next wave arrives, or if the swarm will simply grind them down until nothing stands. And if you were here, would you bet on the drones breaking through? Press 1, or the defenses holding the line? Press 9. 8:15 East. Just when the Russians braced for impact, the threat changed. From the haze of smoke came smaller, faster shapes, skimming just above the water. Miniature USV decoys and strikers mixed together darted in. Harder to track, harder to hit. Each one could be packed with explosives. The defenders, already panicked by the big sea baby, now had to split their focus again. Gunners swung barrels wildly, chasing wakes. Some shots hit, sending spray and foam into the air. Others missed, and the new swarm pressed closer. The neat lines of defense collapsed into chaos. Ukrainian operators had held their ace until now. These fast boats were meant to confuse, to draw fire, to open the last gap for the main strike. On the deck, Russian voices overlapped in desperate radio calls. Orders contradicted each other. Ammunition ran low. The platform was fighting blind. The Sea Baby close to 500 meters. The mini-boats weaved around it, shields of noise and distraction. Every tracer wasted on them meant fewer rounds at the true killer. The defenders knew it but couldn't stop themselves. They fired anyway. Steel groaned as another FPV smashed into a support beam. Fire climbed higher, licking across the deck. The entire rig now looked like a burning cage, alive with drones in the air and boats below. Every second mattered. From their remote console, Ukrainian controllers called out ranges 400, 350, 300. The countdown ticked faster. The main USV surged forward, white spray trailing like a comet tail. In the command room, operators leaned close to their screens, hands steady, eyes locked. Each breath matched the engine's roar, each heartbeat another meter gained. The strike was now seconds away. 22:24. Flames light the horizon, turning night into a wall of fire. The Ukrainian truck launches its last tubes. Each hiss marks a final gamble. If these drones break through, the hub falls. Russian defenders brace. Pantsir crews lock radars to low angles. Autocannons swivel, barrels glowing red. The Zhetel jammer runs at full power, flooding the spectrum. Every operator knows there's no fallback. Stop this wave or lose the base. 22:25. The first drones appear over the shoreline. Guns bark, missiles streak, smoke trails twist upward. Explosions flash, fragments rain down. 3 drones vanish in fireballs. But more press in, weaving through gaps. 22:26. The swarm splits. Half aim for burning tanks, hoping to ignite secondary blasts. The rest dive for the command post. Russian gunners fire non-stop, tracers cutting across the sky. One drone shatters above the yard, raining metal shards. Another slams into a tank row, triggering rolling detonations that send shockwaves through the ground. 22:27. The last wave closes in. CIWS mounts thunder, spitting streams of rounds. 2 drones erupt mid-air, yet one keeps coming low, fast, locked onto the command node. The crew holds fire until the final second. A burst tears across the sky, and the target disintegrates in a fireball so close, the blast rocks the base. 22:28. Fire crews try to reroute foam lines, but pressure drops with the grid dead. Medics drag the wounded behind a revetment. A shattered T-72 cooks off. The turret lifts and slams back down. In the ops shack, a backup radio squeals garbled, then clear, hold, recount, ammo status. Silence doesn't come. Fires rage, ammo still cooks off, but the sky clears. For a moment, both sides freeze Ukraine out of drones, Russia out of calm. The climax has passed, leaving only destruction and smoke. The question now, was this survival or only a delay? Defenders believe they've held. Attackers know they've inflicted massive damage. The truth is, somewhere in between the hub stands, but crippled, bleeding resources. And here's where you come in. If you think Ukraine's final strike truly broke the backbone of Berdyansk, press 1. If you believe Russia's defense held the line just enough, press 9. 22:30. The attack is over. Fires rage across the Berdyansk hub, painting the sky with smoke that drifts far over the Azov coast. At least 10 T-72 lie charred, their silhouettes twisted in the glow. The 110 kV substation is gone, leaving the base in blackout. Fuel yards burn without control, and the ammo depot is a cratered ruin. For Ukraine, the result is more than just explosions. This strike cuts deep into Russia's supply chain. Analysts estimate a 20% reduction in resupply capacity for frontline units in Zaporizhia. That means fewer shells fired tomorrow, fewer convoys reaching Mariupol or Melitopol. A $5 billion disruption caused by drones launched from a single hidden truck. For Russia, the cost is equally heavy. Defenses fired dozens of missiles and shells, exposing radars and draining stockpiles, yet still could not prevent cascading losses. Morale suffers when troops see depots burning and tanks destroyed without a single Ukrainian soldier stepping foot inside. Commanders now face a dilemma: move logistics further back or risk more strikes. Strategically, Berdyansk proves a lesson: cheap drones can overwhelm expensive defenses. Swarm tactics bend the cost equation, turning small warheads into massive disruption. Allies watching from afar note both sides' adaptation. Russia layering jammers and autocannons, Ukraine shifting flight paths and timing. The war is not static, each night changes the balance. Tonight, Berdyansk stands crippled but not erased. Ukraine showed that distance and concealment can deliver blows once thought impossible. Russia showed it can absorb punishment, though at high cost. The outcome is a draw in appearance, but a loss in logistics. And here's where I want your take. If you believe Ukraine's strike truly crippled the hub, press 1. If you think Russia endured enough to keep Berdyansk alive, press 9. Either way, subscribe and stay tuned, because the next wave will only be bigger, faster, and harder to stop.